Welcome to part 2 of the tour of my valley in Disney Dreamlight Valley. If you're interested in seeing the first part, I'll leave the link in the description box below. Here I'll show you a quick view of the meadow where we can see Goofy, Mickey, Minnie and Donald's house. All of these are available in part 1. In this part I'm going to show you me updating my house from a cottage to a castle, as well as decorating around the Encanto house, where I put Simba's house and building my theme park. Other than that, I believe I've only made a few minor changes around the valley. On day 1 of this shop opening and the castle becoming available, I came straight home from work and purchased this castle. I also bought the Royal Deco living room set. I posted about it on a Facebook group and people were laughing and saying, oh, somebody couldn't wait to live in a castle. And you know what? I couldn't wait because I had made several videos complaining that I was the ruler of the valley and I had to live in a horrible yellow cottage. So now was the time. So this is what my garden looked like before, and I absolutely detested this yellow cottage. The idea of this garden was that I was the leader of the valley and I spent so much time helping all the villagers that I didn't take any time to look after my own house. So it was just full of unfinished projects and it just didn't look very nice at all. But once it was time to get a castle, it was time to change the garden. The original plan was to face the castle the same direction that the cottage was facing, so that when I came out straight onto the main well. However, I didn't really have access to that back mining rock, so I had to change it up a little bit. Changing the cottage to a castle wasn't as easy as I originally expected. I was going to have to change one full half of the plaza. Originally, I had this little seated area at the side of my house, as well as Woody's carousel. I never really liked Woody's carousel there, and I never really knew where it would fit in the valley, so it's moved a few times. But as you can see, I've got this little seating area and then I've got the carousel. This bit never really made any sense to me. However, once it was time to put my castle, I just had to change it up completely. Just in case you don't know, when you're switching your house over, you go to furniture mode, click on your house and it'll come up with the options that you've got available. Some people might just want to change the colour of their cottage, but at the moment, this one's available. There's also been like a fancy cottage and also Eric's boat. I really wish at this point that we could have two houses because I would have liked Eric's boat as well. Once I decided the placement of the castle, I had to clear one half of the plaza. The other half is Remy's VIP restaurant. I decided to give my palace a grand garden. I did record it all, however I didn't put it in this video because I didn't want to bore you to tears. However, I will give you a tour of the final results. This is from the main well. Over to the right you can see the palace, and I put this kind of marble flooring. And on the right hand side of the palace we have this little secret garden area with the frozen couch, and on the left hand side we have access to the mining rock as well as a crafting station, and obviously no castle is complete without a magical wishing well at the front. At each side of the garden there's a space in the hedges for easy access around the plaza. I'm not really one for running all over the place just to pick up flowers and remove night thorns. I've seen a lot of videos where people put up a lot of fences and hedges and they have to do a lot of running around, and to be honest it looks lovely, but I just don't have the patience to move fences every time I need to lift a night thorn, so that's why I've just left these spaces for easy access. I also wanted the villagers to feel comfortable enough to come in and ask me stuff if they needed help without any hassle. Here I'll just go into furniture mode to show you what the garden looks like from above. Obviously I've got the conservatory because it's fancy and it goes with the other half of the plaza. I've got the lions which I've been dying to use and I've not had a chance to use them anywhere. I've got a little meeting spot at the side to have food, and I've got a little barbecue area in the corner, as well as my secret garden on the right hand side and my crafting area on the left. Plenty of space for sitting down as well. I think this turned out really well and I love these purple trees. You probably know that I'm obsessed with these, and I really love the white tree in the background as well. This is what it looks like during the day. I think that my palace looks amazing here because it's got the backdrop of the main castle. Let me know in the comments what you think of the end result. I hate to admit this, but with all the crafting, visits to Scrooge's shop and deciding where everything had to be placed, this took me about 3 hours to complete. However, I think it was worth it. Next we have the Forest of Vela, which isn't really much of a forest anymore because I've removed most of the trees. But I really felt like this was the most suitable place for this Encanto house. Obviously it's raining here, but this looks depressing. I had it sitting here on its own for a few days and it just wasn't inspiring me whatsoever. I really feel like this house is about partying and family and friends, so I wanted to show that in the way I decorated it. I started off by taking everything out the furniture inventory that I thought would go well in the garden, and originally it was supposed to be just a small garden with a table and some chairs, but one thing led to another and I decided to just really go for it. As you can see here, I'm pulling out lots of chairs, I've got some musical instruments, and I tried to use some of the actual Encanto decorations. At the time, I didn't really know where I was going to put Goofy's stall, so that's moved around a few times. After about half an hour of placement, I thought this was going to be the final result, but there was something about the table and chairs sitting on grass that just didn't look right, so I decided to try and make it look more like a deck in a place that you would have a barbecue and spend a lot of time out there in the summer. I believe the path that I crafted is Natural Stone Path, and it's one of my favourites. I also have this pathway that goes right up to the bridge, and I think it looks really good. As you can see in there, I added lots of party food, some musical instruments so that everybody could dance. I've got deck chairs, places for sunbathing, I've got a camera so that they can make family videos, and I've added some plants, and I've got one of those light up trees just to make it a bit more fun. I put these terrace walls up for a bit of privacy, but let's face it, everybody's going to be in and out, and when you're walking around the village you often find villagers just randomly in your garden, so not really much point in privacy here. However, I put it there and I think it looks quite nice. I've got a little fan sitting on that table there for when it gets too hot. I would 100% be sitting in front of that the whole time. I've got a radio there, and then I've got some fireworks sitting for later. I've got a little fire pit in the corner which has now been changed to a barbecue pit, because I only just realised that you can actually cook on those barbecue pits. I had cookers all over the valley. Oh, honestly. And this is what it looked like when you walked out of the house. In a second, I'm going to show you what that area across the bridge looks like now. Once I completed the update 4-star path, I decided to give this whole place a makeover. As you can see here, we've got a pool area out the front with a hammock and some more places to spend time in the sun. Over to the right hand side here, we have this petting zoo area for all my companions. Now, this took quite a bit of effort because for some reason, all my companions kept escaping. Like, sometimes they can actually get through that fence, but I'm going to show it to you in furniture mode. So you can see here that I've got all these houses and every single companion that I've got at the moment is in here. I've put some bird feeders and some pond areas and also this waterfall. I just wanted to put these in because for some reason the companions, they don't seem to spread out the whole area, and it's as if they're always trying to get out the fence, so the middle part looked really empty. That was why I decided to put these bigger features in the middle. This part could be problematic when there's night thorns and things like that in there. However, I've found that if I open up the fence to go in and then restart the game, all the companions are back in their houses again. So as you can see here, straight across from the Encanto house, I have placed my theme park. I obviously decided that the Forest of Vela was going to be a place for fun. So here we've got a little place to sit, and don't forget the bins. I've got the merch stall over at the side and some rides here. Behind the burger stall, I've actually placed some burgers and fries. And then here you can see a place where I have put for a birthday party, and the piñata is right next to that. Don't forget the toilets. I don't know if you've seen inside my house, but I've actually got a public bathroom inside my house where I have 44 other rooms. I put the balloon ride next to the carousel, and then here I've put some little rockets for the kids and also for some of the smaller characters in the valley. Here we've got a dance floor. In my imagination, that statue actually spins round, as well as there were some stalls there, which in my mind is like the bar. If you watch part 1, you'll see that in this area, I originally just had Elsa's house, and I had built a spa area outside, and that was so that her and Eric could rent out their apartments as an Airbnb. But since then they've decided that they're going to make a lot more money with a theme park, and they can also rent out their houses every now and then. Now, I don't know if anybody's noticed, but Eric seems to spend all his time with Elsa. Every time I go into Remy's restaurant, they're having dinner together. I've never seen Eric spend any time with Ariel, and it's really making me want to just put her back in the water because it's pointless her being out. He just ignores her constantly. So obviously you can see that I moved the carousel up here so it finally fits in somewhere in the valley. I gave Elsa a little garden outside and just put a fence round, and she's got a little seating area and everything there. I still think it looks quite nice. I never really liked the fact that they have got a massive ice cave in the middle of the forest. So over here we've got the Toy Story area, and then I decided to move Buzzy's RV from Sunlit Plateau up to here. I just wanted them to be nearer Woody. At the moment, the only house that I've not really put any effort into is Eric's castle. I've just got no inspiration for it whatsoever. I'm going to keep it where it is because you can look over Ariel's house on the beach. However, I just can't think of a way to decorate it. Here is an aerial view of the theme park. As you can see, we've got the rides, we've got little food sections, a bit for picnics and barbecues, we've got a swimming pool, and where Woody's carousel is, I've also got some Toy Story themed items, like tables and chairs, and some other Toy Story themed attractions. The main issue that I'm having with decorating Eric's castle is that when you come down those stairs, I don't want you to have to walk into walls or hedges, and I don't really know how to make it look good, so at the moment it's just kind of sitting there. I've put this house outside so that it's ready for Max coming home. Up in Frozen Heights, I really haven't made much of an effort because I want to move the pillar out the way before I can make it look good. But in part 1 you can see that I put this little snowman family here, but since then I've added that little baby snowman in an igloo, and I just put that snow castle up there just because it fits in. But I'm really going to have to do something good with this sometime soon. Across the bridge there you can see Anna's house, which I still think looks really good. There's a lot of parts in my valley that need a lot of work. Over in Sunlit Plateau, I moved those egg hedges because that's where I harvest everything. And then over in the corner, I put Nala and Simba's house. And I've also got a little waterfall feature over in the side as well. Previously, I had the RV down here, and I didn't really think it fit in, but I think this actually looks quite nice. Even though I've got a place over here for sunbathing, I'm pretty sure that Simba and Nala are not going to eat any of the sunbathers. Down on the beach, I had built this entertainment centre with a swimming pool, a DJ box and a place to go and eat. And I haven't made that many changes here other than this hammock and this massive shell that I got. But overall, I think it looks pretty much the same. At one point I had the carousel down here and it looked absolutely ridiculous, so I'm really glad that I've got the theme park now. I think the only other things that I've changed down here is this lifeguard tower over by the side of the pool, and then I have got some added items that were requested by Nala and Simba, and I really can't wait to be able to move this post because this island is a mess. Hopefully you liked the second part of my valley, and if you're interested in seeing the first part, I'll leave the link in the description box below. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new here, consider subscribing.